Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different from anything else that I have ever posted. I decided that I want to speak out about mental illness. It's a very touchy subject, but I believe that I can possibly help at least one person going through something that maybe I've gone through before, just so that they don't feel like they're the only one. So basically once a month I am going to film a video and post it on my channel, basically just giving you guys an update about my mental illness and hopefully helping someone in the process. So today I'm going to kind of just give you guys an overall background, a diagnosis, things that have happened in my life that have brought me to the point of having these diagnoses, and medications that I'm on. Basically just some background information about this. So to start off, anybody that does not know, I am 21 years old. I still live with my parents, my mom and my stepdad, and I have 3 siblings. I have a 19-year-old brother and a 6-year-old sister and a 4-year-old sister. So there's a big age gap between me and my sisters. Me and my brother are best friends. He is my support through everything and I'm his support through everything, and we are just very close. My sisters and I obviously are very close as well. I am more like a second mother to them because of that age gap. So I currently live in Ohio. I am not going to give any details about this city just because of safety reasons. We live in Ohio due to my stepdad's job. My brother lives in New Hampshire, and we are all originally from Indiana. My entire family, besides my brother, live in Indiana. So when you guys see that I am traveling a lot, it is because we are taking road trips to Indiana to see my family, or we're going to New Hampshire to see my little brother and my nephew and my best friend, who happens to be my brother's fiance. So that is basically my background. So I am a licensed esthetician and makeup artist, but currently I am not working because of my mental illness. It prevents me from being able to hold a normal job. That's why I do YouTube, and I also run an at-home business with my mother. So now to get into the meat of things. If you guys see me looking down to my side, it's because I have a notebook here with everything that I want to talk about in this first video. So starting off with my diagnosis. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. And I was on medication for a while, probably about 2 years. I was on Celexa, and it worked really well at the time. So when I was 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar depression, and I had it under control for 6 years with medication for 2 of those 6 years, and without medication for the last 4. So when I was 14, I started binge eating and crash dieting. because of some things that have happened in my life that I will get into later on in this video and future videos. So I have also been diagnosed with an eating disorder. I self-diagnosed myself with that, and then just recently I was diagnosed with an eating disorder, a combination of anorexia and a binge eating disorder. So I've also been just recently diagnosed with extremely severe general anxiety disorder. Basically what this means is multiple different things are triggers for me and cause me to have anxiety and have panic attacks. So I am going to just look up the definition of these disorders so that you guys can be more educated on everything. So first we will look up bipolar depression. It says bipolar depression, also called manic depression. Manic phase may last weeks or months, and the depressive phases may last weeks or months. This is a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. So basically the symptoms for this one is manic episodes may include symptoms such as high energy, reduced need for sleep, and loss of touch with reality. Depressive episodes may include symptoms such as low energy, low motivation, and loss of interest in daily activities. Mood episodes last days to months at a time and may also be associated with suicidal thoughts. So next, for general anxiety disorder, it's very common, severe ongoing anxiety that interferes with daily activities. The symptoms, it says the condition has symptoms similar to panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and other types of anxiety. These symptoms include constant worry, restlessness, and trouble concentrating. People may also experience back pain, fatigue, lightheadedness, or sweating. So basically the anxiety can cause both mental symptoms and physical, which explains a lot for me, which I will get into later on. And now I will look up anorexia. And this is an eating disorder caused by people to obsess about weight and what they eat. Symptoms include trying to maintain a below normal weight through starvation or too much exercise. For me, it's more of the starvation. I go through stages where I will eat everything that I want, and then I will go through stages where I don't eat for days, and it takes a toll. It takes a toll on you. Binge eating disorder is a serious eating disorder in which you frequently consume unusually large amounts of food and feel unable to stop eating. Almost everyone overeats on occasion, such as having seconds or third at a holiday meal, but this takes it to the extreme. So basically, as I was saying, with the binge eating / anorexia, I will go days where I feel like I cannot stop eating, and I will literally snack from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. And eventually when I snap out of it, then I get really depressed and I don't eat at all. I had it under control for a few years, but recently, because of some life events, it has flared back up full force, and it is not very good right now. So basically, I want to get into the reason that I have these illnesses. First of all, if anyone tells you that mental illness is just in your head, you don't need those people in your life. Mental illness is caused by some type of chemical imbalance in your brain. It can be genetic. My mom has depression. My brother has bipolar depression. My aunt has depression and anxiety. My other aunt has depression and anxiety. And my grandmother has depression and anxiety. Every woman in my family has depression and anxiety, and my brother as well. So it is genetic. It can be genetic, and it can also be not genetic. Some people, PTSD, something tragic happens to you in your life, and it causes you to go into a downward spiral. I have someone in my life that has PTSD, and his is because he was in the military and he was deployed in Afghanistan, and he was a perfectly normal man before he went to Afghanistan. When I was 14 years old, he was deployed. When he came back when I was 15, he was still the same person that I remember going, but he's very different as well. So things in your life can affect your mental illness. Not everything is just in your head, and if people tell you that that's all that it is, you don't need those people in your life. Let me tell you, you don't, because you can get the help that you need, but at the same time, you have to understand that it's part of who you are, and you're going to struggle with it for the rest of your life, even if you're on medication. And I know that's really scary, but once you admit that you have a problem, it's a lot easier to get the help for that problem. So basically where I'm getting with this is, don't feel like you're alone. You're not the only person going through it or having these issues. I felt very, very alone for the last 2 months because of something that happened in my life, and I will get into that in just a moment. But you have to not shut yourself off from reality. You have to put yourself back out into the world, and if it takes baby steps, then take baby steps, but you have to get the help that you need. It's a journey. That's why I'm calling this my mental health journey, because you have to take steps, and sometimes small steps. And as I film these videos, I will get into all of the little things that might help you. So I'm gonna start with giving a little bit about my life and why I struggle with these issues. I've had a lot of events happen in my life that has caused my mental health issues, but I do have a chemical imbalance in my brain, and I know that. But that's not the only thing. Mine is also emotion. So, the very first thing that I want to talk about is my biological father, my dad. When I was 2 years old, my dad passed away in a car accident in 1997. He was 23 years old, and I was 2.5, and my brother was 6 months old. That's why me and my brother are as close as we are, because the only people that we had growing up was our family and my mom. My mom is such a strong woman. I hope that one day I'm half of the woman that my mother is, because she is so strong, and I don't know how she did it. I really don't. She raised me and my brother by herself from the time that I was 2.5, and I'm 21 now. So it's been almost, at the end of this month will be 19 years since my dad passed away. So for the last 19 years, my mom has been a single mom raising me and my brother, and she did a damn good job. She did a damn good job. I don't know if she would completely agree with that, but she did. And all parents make mistakes. All parents do things that they regret in the future, but me and my brother wouldn't be the people that we are today without her and her supporting us through everything. So growing up without my dad was extremely hard on me, and it was very hard on my brother as well, but yeah. So growing up without my dad has been horrible. He wasn't there for my wedding day. He wasn't there for when I went to prom. He wasn't there for when I graduated high school. He wasn't there when I learned how to cook his favorite meal. I feel like I've been robbed from a lot of things, but I know that he is here with me in spirit. I can feel him with me every day. And yeah, so that was really the first thing that causes me a lot of depression. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the reason that I have the eating disorder. The reason I developed the eating disorder is because I have been bullied. This is a really touchy subject for a lot of people, but I have been bullied my entire life about my weight. Yeah, I'm plus size. I am me. If you don't like it, I don't care. I don't like to cuss on my channel, but I don't really care if you don't like me for me. I am who I am, and no one else can be me. And I have just recently gotten my confidence in myself for that reason, but I still struggle with the eating disorder every single day. When I was 14, I started crash dieting. I would go weeks with eating only salads for lunch and dinner. I wouldn't eat breakfast, and I would only eat salads for lunch and dinner and only drink water. Occasionally I would eat a yogurt because I do have hypoglycemia, so when my blood sugar gets really low, I pass out. So I knew that when I was 14, so I knew that I didn't want to pass out because I didn't want anyone to know that something was wrong with me. I hid my eating disorder very well. No one really knew that anything was wrong with me. So I would eat a yogurt occasionally when I would feel really shaky or feel like I was going to pass out, because I knew that the protein and the sugar in the yogurt would help. So I crash dieted on and off from the time that I was 14 until I was 16, and then I kind of got away from it, and yeah, now my eating disorder is back. It never really went away, but I had it under control. Some days I will eat, and some days I won't eat at all, or I'll wait all day and only eat dinner. So, I mean, it's still here, and I'm still trying to fight it, but it's really hard. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I've been married and divorced, and I'm 21 years old. And that was a big game changer for me. Big game changer. When I was 17 years old, I met a guy that I'm going to call Chris. I met him when I was 17, and just a disclaimer right now, if you're my family and you don't know about these things, I'm sorry that this is how you have to find out. But I don't regret any of this because it's made me into the person that I am now, and you guys will understand why I am the way that I am now after seeing these videos. Okay, so Chris and I met when I was 17. He was 21. We met through a couple mutual friends. And Chris was supposed to be a one-night stand. Yeah, he was. But he wasn't. He wasn't. Chris and I were together for 6 months, and he moved in with me. Then, I was living in New Hampshire, Maine area at the time. So 6 months passes, Chris moves in with me and my family. And then that summer, we moved to Ohio, and Chris moved here with us. Things started to kind of go downhill from there. But I was afraid to be alone. I didn't want to be alone. And now I understand that. So Chris and I were together for a little under 3 years, and out of that 3 years, we were only married for 8 months. We got married on October 3rd, 2015, and divorced separated on June 4th, 2016. So we were only married for 8 months and 1 day. And when we divorced, I got my confidence finally, because I realized that I could do this alone. I could be alone. I didn't need him, because he was just, our relationship was very toxic. We were good as friends, but never in a relationship. We were never good for each other. So, yeah. So the next two things that I have wrote down kind of intertwine, so I'm going to kind of switch back and forth between the two. So in October of 2016, I met this guy that I am going to call Cody, and I fell so in love with him. If I keep looking over this way, it's because I have a picture of us on the wall. Cody and I were really good together. We had our issues. We had a lot of issues, but we both wanted to make it work. And I will go more into detail in another video. But right now I'm just going to kind of talk about the basics. So Cody and I met in October, and we started dating October 25th of 2016. Time passes. Okay, so quick little insert. I cut out a lot of the story from the video because it was making the video way too long, and I wanted to cut down on the time
So I will go more into depth about this story in a future video, but for now, I'm just talking about when I found out that I was pregnant. This was the third time that I had taken a test, and it was right before I miscarried. So I will go more into depth in a future video, so keep an eye out for that.
So I'm gonna say it would have been like 6 weeks at this point. So we had only been together for a month, but when you're pregnant, technically you're 2 weeks, like from the date of sex, you're 2 weeks further along than that because of the time that it takes the egg to release from the ovary and travel down the fallopian tube. So I would have been roughly about 6 weeks at this point. I was like, okay, pregnancy test is going to register now. So I take the test, and of course, it's positive. I'm bawling at this point because I'm happy because like I didn't think that I could have kids. So I went to Florida. Cody and I got into a really, really bad argument to the point where we broke up, and I blocked him from everything, and we did not talk from November 29th up until February 29th. So for all of December and January. But on December 3rd, I was in Florida with my grandmother and I miscarried. I was 7.5 weeks pregnant, and it was the worst experience of my life. At the time, I did not know if I had miscarried or not. I just kind of was like, maybe I wasn't pregnant. But after explaining it to my mom and my aunt, who had already had a miscarriage a few years before that, and talking to my mom's best friend who's in the medical field, they all three agreed with me and said that they think that I did have a miscarriage. So I never went to the hospital because I had never told my grandmother that I was pregnant. And so she knows now that I was, but I did not tell her until the end of January, right before Cody and I started talking again. So I miscarried in December, and then Cody and I got back together at the end of January. So fast forward, middle of February. February 17th, Cody and I went to a town that he grew up in, and I can't really tell all of the story because I'm just not, I don't feel comfortable right now. So basically what happened was February 17th, Cody was shot. When he was shot, they hit an artery in his leg and he immediately bled out. After a while, the paramedics resuscitated him, and he was still unstable, but he was still alive. He went through a couple of surgeries. He was in the hospital for about 5 days. Unconscious. On February 22nd, Cody passed away. When Cody was in the hospital, my whole life, my whole world came crumbling down around me. I wanted to spend my life with this person, and it was taken away from me. I wanted to spend my life with him, but he got to spend his life with me. The last 6 months of his life, he felt the unconditional love that I gave him that no one else had ever given him before. He got to experience things that he never experienced before. we had a freaking ball together. He was the life of the party. He was my everything. We used to, I looked over and saw this little sign over here that says I love you more than cheese that I bought for my mom years ago for Mother's Day. And it's funny because I have an obsession with tacos, and he used to have an obsession with Chinese food. So one day I told him, I said, I love you more than tacos, and his response was, I love you more than Chinese food. And we used to say that to each other all the time. Like, that was our thing. Like, we were so in love, and when he passed away, everything came crumbling down right at my feet. I had my first severe anxiety attack the day before he passed away. It was the worst experience of my life to see the man that I love in the hospital on life support and then eventually go brain dead. Okay, so those are the things that have fed into my mental illness. So again, to kind of recap, I have been diagnosed with severe bipolar depression, extremely severe generalized anxiety disorder, and a combination of binge eating disorder and anorexia. My psych thinks that I could possibly have PTSD because I do experience sleep paralysis. I will have dreams where one of my deepest, darkest fears is that I'm gonna lose somebody, another person that I love. And in those dreams, someone that I'm super close with always dies or is near death, and I wake up unable to move my entire body. The only thing I can do is blink and move my eyes. And it's very scary. It's very scary. I've only experienced it 3 times, but I do experience it. So my psych thinks that it's a possibility. So the medications that I am on Pristique, which is a antidepressant, and it helps with anxiety, and I'm also on Ativan for my anxiety, and I am also on Trazodone for sleep, because along with depression and anxiety, there's trouble sleeping, and I have trouble going to sleep and staying asleep, so she put me on Trazodone. So I'm on 3 medications currently, and eventually I do want to be able to get off of these medications, so I am going to therapy and learning coping skills to where I can eventually hopefully get off of these medications. So really, that is all. This is a really long video, holy crap. Hopefully I can edit it down a little bit because it's really long. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below if maybe you're struggling with something and you enjoyed watching this video and maybe it's helping you, or message me. You can DM me on Instagram. My name will be listed right here. I will put it right here for you. DM me on Instagram. I would love to talk to you. Just remember, you're not alone. There's other people out there that have gone through the things that you're going through. I am suicidal. I have suicidal thoughts. I don't show it. I've always got a smile on my face, but that's my personality. I want people around me to be happy, so I pretend to be happy, even if I'm not. I have never acted on my suicidal thoughts, but I do have suicidal thoughts. So if you're going through anything and you need somebody to talk to and you don't have somebody, message me, comment down below, and I will reach out to you. Email me. My email is listed on my Instagram, and I will also have it listed down below. Anything. I want to help. I want to help you. And I would be honored to be that person that you feel like you can go to and speak to. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up down below. Also, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you guys hit the little bell next to the subscribe button down below so that you guys are notified every single time that I upload a new video. And that is it. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks with another one of these types of videos, and also obviously I'm gonna have my normal content in between. So just keep an eye out for future videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.